Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 8, Episode 1, Brunchsquatch, and Episode 2, The Silence of the Louise. We always start off with our synopsis, so here is Brunchsquatch. In this special fan art episode, the kids do all they can to convince their parents to let them get a dog, but the Belcher parents tell them it's too expensive and more work than they are capable of. Jimmy Pesto is now serving brunch, and Bob decides to do the same. Mr. Fischoeder visits while looking for his little brother Felix in their hide-and-seek birthday tradition. The kids agree to help Felix hide if they pay them for the funds they would need to get their dog. Bob's Burgers opens for brunch, and it quickly goes downhill. No one is ordering food, and everyone is getting drunk off mimosas. Fischoeder keeps searching Bob's Burgers for Felix, while the brunch skunks start to get irate. In the end, Calvin finds Felix, the brunch skunks are kicked out of Bob's Burgers, and the kids get to at least play with a puppy. So this is a special episode, as you have seen. They held the fan art competition, and a total of 63 different artists were featured in this. And then, of course, if you watch for the end credits, they were showing all kinds of art and the entries. Yeah. So this is that episode that just shows, like, they love their fans.
Yeah.
But there's actually multiple of these puns, and I don't know if you got all the ones or what you went for.
As soon as I saw that, like, they were changing with the different fan art, at least for the vacant storefront, I did not write any of them down.
Okay, so I have the ones that we were actually able to read.
Okay.
Oh, I only took down the ones you can actually read, because the other ones, it's just like, starts with a B. Like,
yeah, that's not.
We don't know what that is. So we had a whiter shade of pale ale. I guess they only sell pale ale, which
it's a choice.
That's a choice. We have Guggenheim Fan Art Gallery, a play on the Guggenheim.
Yeah.
We have Work of F.Art Fan Art Gallery. Blouse of the Rising Sun, New Orleans. It just has like an A, so we don't know exactly what kind of store it is, but that's what the most of it is. That's supposed to be a play on like House of the Rising Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one that you can see everything is Thus Spoke Zethar. Sorry, I have to read that correctly. Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Bicycle Repair.
And that's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, I think is that story?
By Frederick Nietzsche. Nietzsche?
I think Nietzsche. I think is how you say that. I'm just gonna say this. For when we get to watch the L Word, hold on to that one.
Oh, what is that? I've never read that.
I'm pretty sure it's a short story. Let me double check.
It says a novel, because it says the novel by him and a tone poem by Richard Strauss.
Oh, wait, Nietzsche.
Thank you.
Friedrich Nietzsche. Yeah, Thus Spoke Zarathustra it deals with the ideas about the Übermensch, the death of God, the will to power, and the eternal recurrence. It's a book. So it's philosophical fiction.
Okay.
Yeah. For people that have listened, people that have watched the L Word and have heard me continually tell Katie that she may be subject to that in the near future.
Maybe I'm slowly trying to like find the DVDs to collect.
Yeah, this is true. Oh yeah, and you'll have the different music than I will,
if I can find them.
Yeah,
I found a few, but I have holes in my roof. So
yeah, there's other things are important.
Other things are more important. Yeah. We only got 2 pest control trucks that were easily and all that. So that we have the We're the Pest Around.
Okay.
And My Skies finished last. But there were burgers.
There were 2 burgers. That's what I got.
Yes.
The Blanc canvas burger comes on a fromage blanc, I think is what it said.
I think it comes with fromage blanc. Because the fromage blanc is just white cheese.
That's what I figured. I was like, I thought it said on. I couldn't tell. It's also been a while since I've actually watched on my TV and not my external monitor. So that could be like I was squinting, like my eyes. That's also not as good as it used to be. And the other one was the topless the morning to you burger, which is weird, hard to say. Weirdly,
it really is. So I do have some fun facts about this episode. I mean, obviously, there was this lovely competition that they did. But the Dalton, our new character, is voiced by John Early from 30 Rock.
Okay.
I like him. Dalton does return.
Okay.
From time to time. He's a pretty cool guy. we're just adding to the queer characters at this point.
I'm okay with this.
I feel like at this point, everyone after this, they kind of, I think almost every new character that's not a child has been queer. Like they're like a lot of the time. It's really great because there's another character you're going to meet soon that she's queer too. So like, it's great. It makes me so happy.
Okay.
It just took 8 seasons to get more than Marshmallow, you know?
That's fair.
The animation for this episode is entirely based on the fan art submitted artwork selected through a fan art contest. They did call it, they literally called it the Bob's Burgers fan art, aka fart contest.
I think they said that at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the full name of it. That's actually what they named it.
Okay.
Artists were asked to supply their own take on the title sequence in video form, background scenes in drawing form, and character drawings. So that's how they were chosen for the different scenes.
Okay.
Jean suggests that Felix hides in the Upside Down, which is a parallel dimension in to the real world from Stranger Things, and which is so funny because like we're waiting on the last season of Stranger Things right now, and I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
How long has that show been going?
I was on my last marriage when it started, I think.
Dang.
Like Millie Bobby Brown is married.
I know that. That I know.
Like she was like what, 12?
Something like that, yeah.
When that start, when did that come out? Because like I'm actually annoyed with it so much.
Well, because like I mean, I remember I looked into a little bit of like how they're making it, and like the fact that like some episodes are basically movies makes sense as to why it takes a while between each season. But at this point, does the show have a cohesive plot?
So I wasn't wrong. The first season was released July 15th, 2016. I got divorced August of 2016.
That's hilarious.
So I literally was in my last marriage when this came out.
Yeah.
I'm already married again.
Yeah.
And we are celebrating our 6-year anniversary. So like they're just now about to get the last season of Stranger Things out.
So that show has been airing through 4 different through 4 different presidencies.
Yeah. And we're only waiting on like how many seasons?
6.
We're only waiting on the 6th season.
Like that was a guess.
Like I would be sorry. I don't know. I would say 6. That sounds right. How many seasons? It's not telling me. 5. We're waiting on the 6th season. Or the 5th season? What's the 5th one? Okay, no, we're waiting on the 5th season.
That's not better.
That's not better. Yeah,
that's
no,
worse.
season 5, episode 1.
That's
2025.
Worse.
And it's only 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
But this is my thing is shows like that sustain, and other shows don't.
Right?
Like I don't want it. Shows that will make you wait 3 to 4 years between seasons, and people still come back to watch it.
The only thing that I like can agree with that on is shows like Rings of Power because they take
when there's
a shit ton of time and money to get made.
But even then, Amazon Prime did something smart in that they were alternating shows. So like basically it takes 2 years to produce a show, but you still get something every year because
they're doing that in Wheel of Time.
Exactly. They're alternating 2 big epic fantasy shows. Or even with Bridgerton. I don't agree that I mean, the thing that takes them the most is the dubbing because they dub it in nearly every language they can.
I like that.
Takes a while. But I'd like that they do that. I don't know why that takes 2 years, but I don't produce television shows. I don't really know. But they usually, those are every 2 years over those seasons, but there's usually a spin-off season of something between each. So like I get
like
that.
Queen Charlotte or something like that.
Yeah, Queen Charlotte that was between seasons 2 and 3.
I never finished season 1 of Bridgerton. It's just not my thing.
That's fair.
But like, I'm sorry. I know we're still like in the fun facts for this, but I will never get over the shit they have put us through with Stranger Things to the point I really don't care to watch the last season. I couldn't tell you the last thing that actually happened in season 4, but I used to love it. Used to make sure I was watching it, was excited when season 4 came out because I was living in this house and I remember watching the entire season. But now like it's just been too long. I've lost interest.
That's fair.
Oh my goodness. So a PDF coloring book featuring submissions was made available to download from the show's official webpage. Like when this happened. You can't find it now, of course.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's 2000 fucking 4. No.
Nope.
15? Nope. Might have been 2016, actually.
It
Or
has to be
17.
after. It
It has
has
to
to
be
be after
after.
Stranger Things
So
started.
this is probably 2017. Do the writing schedule, because like if Stranger
Yeah.
Things came out in July, they're not going to have it immediately in a joke, and like
Yeah, so that's
that's not going to happen.
2017.
During the scene where Linda imagines her and the kids as Sex and the City characters, a cross section of the "Don't You For Cheddar Bout Me" burger from the Bob's Burger book appears on the wall in the place of the usual burger cross section.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only episode to have more than one store next door and pest control struck. This is the only time it happens.
Makes sense.
And they did a lot of a lot of just random images, and it contained references from seasons 1 to 6,
Okay.
including the helicopter from Lil Hard Dad, but not clutching Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just the helicopter, you know? You don't need to have everybody. A
No.
pair of Beatles from Bed and Breakfast.
Okay.
A shrimp dangling from a balloon from L'Independent Woman.
Okay.
A cormorant chasing a butterfly from Tinosaurus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Caffrey's candy box coffin from Human Flesh.
Mm-hmm.
A lobster from Lobster Fest. Jeff's box from Tina and the Real Ghost.
Oh, okay.
One of Gail's anus paintings from Art Crawl. A burger bag with the drawn rocket / fish / penis from Bob Day Afternoon. We also had a Ghost Boy tag from Landship, a punnet of blueberries from Bob Fires the Kids. Princess Little Piddles from Adventures in Chinchilla Sitting is also featured. Jeez. And the lump of ambergris from Ambergris. And the bathroom, of course, that Felix built. But yeah, no. They packed in as much as they could into this. Well, it's a big celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8 seasons. I thought, I always remember this to be around season 10, and I'm apparently, wrong.
2 seasons too early.
2 seasons too early. But season 8 is really good, because I told my husband about showing you the picture at the end of every season for the next season.
Yeah.
He also laughed. I was like, yeah, she was like, is that a taxidermy squirrel? I'm like, yes, it is.
Well, because it's a thing of like, I mean, I should keep track of it so I can like tick off the things, because like as
it's still
like,
there
with last season, like as like we were watching it, I was like, oh, I remember seeing that, like, so I should do that, but then that's
the picture's just in that thing. If you ever want to take a look at it from time to time, it's going to stay in that script.
Okay.
But I'm still laughing at that, though. It just, I don't know why you be saying the taxidermy squirrel takes me back to the goat conversation, but like, I can't.
Where did you find a goat?
It was brought to me.
I understand this now.
For reference, y'all, a goat came into my house, and I got to hold it and pet it, a baby goat, and I sent Lauren a picture, and all I got was, where did you find a goat? Because, you find things like that.
These are the important questions.
It's very important. I only wrote down 3 lines.
I think I have 6.
Goodness. All right.
Yeah.
What you got?
Dogs are expensive. The food, the vet, the Halloween costumes.
Mom let you get another wife. You met her when you were walking the dog. Her name is Susan. She's a homeopath. I like Susan. Like, the way Linda automatically always jumps in and be like excited for any situation. She doesn't get mad or anything. She's like, okay, yeah, I'd share. Yeah, I'd totally share your dad.
Yeah.
Because that's normal to say to your children.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a good harmony, but no.
Wait, when what? You said you were in danger and I took advantage of that for money.
Or Gene Moses after Gene Simmons.
Oh, look, a line. We're like a nightclub or an understaffed drugstore.
Am I drunk, or are you guys having a weird conversation? Both. I have 2 more.
Okay.
Stop eating all the lettuce. It's not even washed.
Oh my God.
And then you can't just add a bottom.
But I mean,
I feel like most bottomless mimosas, I mean, they do definitely water them down. That was on Linda. It didn't occur to her to do that because it's Linda, and that makes sense as to why she would not water down the mimosas, because
they're also not using champagne.
They're not using champagne. They're
using Prosecco.
Yes. But like, and I'll admit, my preferred method of a mimosa is basically a glass of sparkling wine with an orange juice somewhere near it. Like, we're not putting a lot of orange juice into our mimosas here when you have the option to do that.
When you can do that at home. At the restaurant, they're making pictures of that stuff.
Well, there's a brunch place that I go to with my family that is BYOB. Because it's
you've told me about this place.
Yeah, it's because in New Jersey, there's a lot more BYOB, at least in northern New Jersey.
Yeah, it's not that here at all.
So you bring your own bottle of Prosecco and you order like these little things of different juices, orange juice, cranberry juice, whatever. and you make your own mimosas that way. And we definitely don't put a whole lot of orange juice in ours.
See, I'm
But
laughing because I'm like, oh, if I ever visit, we'll go. And then I'm like, why would I
you don't
care?
drink.
I don't drink.
I'll say that place has very good coffee, and I think they also have mocktails on their menu.
Ooh, okay, I love any place that will keep mocktails on the menu because thank you.
Yeah,
Just thank
why
you.
not?
I want something fun too. I just don't want alcohol.
Exactly. So that place, that's the exception to the rule there. But I want to say places that do have bottomless mimosas, at some point they will cut you off.
Yes. They
Like,
have to. Like, there's a legal limit.
exactly. Like if they can't keep serving you if you are visibly drunk.
Yes.
Because if something happens, then they are liable. So
And yes, you have to listen if your bartender cuts you off.
yes, you absolutely do.
Because if you get mad at your server, that's not the server. That server might be cutting you off, but I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it's the bartender going, they've had how many? They don't get any more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we had like a limit for so many people at the table, where a place I used to work at that had brunch, you only allowed so many pitchers for your bottomless until you were cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people don't like being cut off.
No.
Obviously.
Yeah, I did a brunch cruise. We did that like after I graduated college. That was something we did. And like it was bottomless mimosas, but it was the same thing of like you got orange juice and you got the bottle of sparkling whatever separate. But it was like definitely like low proof prosecco.
Oh.
Like because we went through a lot. Like there were 7 of us, maybe 8 of us. We went through quite a few bottles. No one was drunk.
I think the one I liked the most for like your pricing for things like this was like the Costco Prosecco.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best ones, honestly. The Costco, honestly, any of the Costco alcohol, it's actually really great. If your Costco has a liquor store, use that.
New York does not.
New York doesn't. Oh, down here does.
No,
Yeah,
because
it's not.
New York.
Well, you have your Costco wholesale, but ours is like it's in the Costco building, but you have to go out of Costco to go into it. It has to stay separate technically, but you can't get like wine and beer in the main Costco. Yeah. But the liquor has to be separated. It can't be in the grocery store.
Yeah, New Jersey, I want to say you can get the liquor in Costco, whether it's in the same configuration or not. New York, though, I think we've talked about this before. New York liquor laws, you can't mix. Like you can't sell wine. But it's like you can only sell basically like wine and liquor or beer where there is food. So most grocery stores prefer to sell like beer and like hard ciders and stuff like that. And then you have to go to a specific store for wine and liquor because they can't be because wine and liquor or beer and other kind of fermented things can't be sold in the same store.
That's so weird. Like
it is what it is.
It doesn't make any sense.
I have to go to 2 stores to get my alcohol.
I go to none.
That's true. I currently go to none. My place is sans alcohol because I haven't gone to buy any.
I'm still that person though that when like people ask me about good alcohol though, I'm the one that's just like still suggesting certain wines, liquors, everything. I'll be like, get this one for this price at this place. It's the best deal you're gonna get, and for the flavor and everything else. And they're just like, oh, do you drink? And I'm like, no. I just pour. I would at this point I'm only going to brunch for the food, but
that's fair.
What did you think of the storyline for this? Because that's actually one of the biggest complaints I have seen about this episode is the storyline, not the art.
Yeah, I think my thoughts are the opposite. The storyline was fine. It felt a little watered down.
I feel like they had to do that with so many styles of art.
Exactly. Because like it felt almost like, I think it was coupled with the different styles of art. It almost made this feel like a Nick Jr. show.
Okay, I could see that.
Rather than being like an adult animation show, this felt like not even just a kid's cartoon, but like a preschool cartoon.
I get that, which ironically, this is my daughter's favorite episode, which makes that it just makes that funnier.
So it was like, it wasn't the best, but I found the constantly changing animation style to be wildly unsettling and distracting. I did not care for it.
I like it from the aspect of like fans got to see their art.
Yeah, I do like
for that. Like their favorite show on TV. Yeah, and now it's like forever exists.
Yeah, I do like that they were able to bring in stuff from the fans, but like from a pure viewing perspective, it just got disorienting because it was every time they changed locations.
Yeah, like I could see that.
If it was like the restaurant was one style, the house was one style, and maybe like the alley was one style, that'd be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was every single time someone walked through a door. You know what it reminded me of? Did you ever see the Fairly Odd Parents like it was Abracadabra, whichever the one. Oh, the Channel Chasers.
Yeah.
That's what it where they keep like changing styles because they keep going to different channels every 10 seconds. That's what it felt like.
Okay. I mean, I could see that. I mean, you're like we've always said, it's okay to be critical of things you enjoy, and we're not always going to have the same opinion. I like it because I like it. I like it because my kids like it.
Yeah,
the storyline for me, like the storyline doesn't bother me because I'm like, they need something that they can stick 62 different art forms in one, which can be very difficult trying to tell a story with that many different art forms so quickly. So like, so I like it as its premise. The storyline doesn't bother me because you got to pick something that's doable that you also can't mess up too much. And like, I don't know, you got brunch skunks getting drunk and irate and puking.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fishodor and Felix having an adult hide and seek competition. So I there's still some fun in there.
No, there definitely is. It was still an enjoyable watch overall, but I was like, it was the constant changing of it that I'm like, and then in the next episode of watch, I'm like, now that we're back to regular animation, this looks weird.
Yeah. So what did you rate this one?
So this one, you got a 7 for plot. It was, like I said, it felt a little watered down compared to other episodes. I got an 8 for character because, I mean, that's kind of what this episode was a crux of. And I got a 6 for personal, so it gets a 21.
That's not that bad. For not really like enjoying it a lot, like that's really not bad.
Yeah, it was like I say, it was an enjoyable watch despite my critiques.
Because I gave plot and personal both 8 and character 7. So mine's a 23.
Okay.
So that's not that far off. Like that's so like we both enjoy it, but I mean have critiques, but enjoy it. All right. Now we have episode 2, The Silence of the Louise. The kids are participating in a readathon, and if the school reads enough, they get to go to the water park. Just as the kids reach their goal, Mr. Frond informs everyone that someone has destroyed his therapy dolls. The water park trip is canceled unless someone admits it was them. Teddy visits with his new acquaintance, Janine, from the stationery store. The two are making inspirational posters to sell together. Louise visits Millie and hopes she can help her find the doll killer. Millie only agrees to help if Louise plays with her. They start working on finding the killer through their playdates. Zeke turns himself in and another doll pops up destroyed. Louise finds out thanks to yarn people that the dolls aren't destroyed, only unraveled, leading to the perpetrator to be Mr. Frond. The adults of Wagstaff spent too much money on K-Cups for their new coffee maker and used all the funds for the water park trip. In the end, Louise and Millie have formed a new relationship, and Bob finds inspiration through Teddy's poster, which was a thing that they did.
That it certainly was a poster.
It was a poster. We'll get into that in a minute, but what did you get for the vacant storefront?
That thong you do.
It's supposed to be a play on the movie That Thing You Do. Pest control truck.
Gone in 60 seconds. Exterminators. That's hard to say.
It's so hard to say, but that's supposed to be for Gone in 60 seconds.
I assume.
But the insecty just does not roll off the tongue.
No, it does not.
And burgers.
So the first one, I didn't get the whole thing. I got burrata be something burger.
So it's supposed to be burrata be a law burger.
Okay.
So there ought to be a law.
Gotcha. Okay.
With burrata, which interesting choice.
Yeah. And then Weekend at Bernays burger.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Bernays sauce on a burger probably would be good.
Yeah.
A little messy, but not too bad.
Like if you make it the right way, though, it's more like yeah. Damn it. Now I want to cook. The title, script cover, and plot are references to the 1991 movie The Silence of the Lambs.
You don't say.
The books that Zeke and Jocelyn read for the readathon are Animal Farm by George Orwell, which everyone should read, in my personal opinion, academically, and Charlotte's Web by E.B. White.
Yes. Which, she's not wrong. A lot of kids, after she said the thing about the spider dying, like, yeah, and especially with Old Yeller also, I'm like, yeah, a lot of kids' books are about the pet dying.
It's always about, and so, which is so funny because like the first book I have assigned my kid in for just like we're going very in depth like with a book for the first time, literature, vocabulary, like all of it, and it's The Giver, and which was so funny because of course I was asked why The Giver, and I'm like it's a little harder to read at times, like there's parts of it that are hard to approach, but I didn't want the first assigned book she ever read to be about a dog dying.
Yeah, because we
'Cause I
didn't read a
think
lot of those in elementary school.
for me, it was Where the Red Fern Grows. They made me read that in 5th grade. Where the
The book
Red Fern Grows was oh,
the book I'm thinking about, is it Shiloh?
they all die, and it's so sad.
Is that the book I'm thinking of?
But Where the Red Fern Grows, like, I remember finishing that. I was a, you know, under the covers reader or, "Oh, there's a hall light. Let me hold my book up where the light is so I can read it at night," kid, and I finished it like that in my bunk bed. It's
Yeah,
just laid there and cried.
the book I was thinking of, yeah, Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. But that one I don't remember. I'm assuming the dog dies. That one's about an abused dog though.
Like, it's so messed up. Like, why are we reading these kids? They're making kids read these.
I don't know. Does the
Like, and
dog
yes,
die
I
in
know
this
The
one?
Giver has a very hard, like, has some hard themes to deal with, but, like, I don't know,
No,
just felt the book that was the good start.
no, I agree. 'Cause I was thinking, I was gonna say, I feel like so many of our children's books that we read in elementary school about animals dying, maybe because their generation had to grow up watching The Fox and the Hound,
Oh
where
god.
neither dies,
No, but it's
but
so sad.
it's still so sad. It's
Oh,
about animals in not happy situations.
dude, we've watched some, like, really hard movies, though. Homeward Bound?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Content
Homeward
warning
Bound.
for all of the animals dying.
Sorry.
There's a website, doesthedogdie.com. I think they do books as well as movies now.
Oh, thank goodness. I need that because yeah. Oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines written down.
I have 3.
Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay.
Which apparently is the line we were just talking about. And so apparently in all children's literature, a really nice animal dies in the end. And that's not cool reading. Not cool. Or we're picking out better books, okay? Like, I'm doing that here at home. The Giver is just an important book to me that I think needs to be
Mhm.
read. I need to give her something fluffy and fun next.
Yes. When she
But
gets it to be a bit, I know we talked about Percy Jackson in
yeah.
the once episode, but like when she gets to that reading level, absolutely please have her read that.
I've tried to get her to start Percy Jackson. She's not really into it, but she has less than 100 pages left in Aragon.
So yeah, she
So
might be getting to the point where she can handle that.
she's better be because Aragon I think is harder than Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I would say.
Since that's YA and you like you said Percy Jackson's middle grade.
Mhm.
Like if she can read Aragon, she can read Percy Jackson. I think she just doesn't the kids don't have their Greek myth obsession anymore. Was that just niche for millennials?
Maybe but not
Where is it?
not necessarily, because I think it was niche for gay millennials. Because
Oh.
here's my thing, because I've tried reading multiple like
You don't
of the
like retellings.
of the ones that are just like, here is the same myth that you've heard all your life, told with more words.
Mhm.
Because I tried reading, I did read Circe, I tried reading Song of Achilles, I tried reading Ariadne, and all of it, I'm like, I know what happens in this myth, and it's like 4 paragraphs. How did you turn this into a novel? I just like, I love retellings that's like it takes flavors of the story with maybe
Mhm.
the same character names, maybe not, but like it takes flavors and vague plot and it gives me a new story. It's still a retelling, but it's it's still a new story. When it's just here's the myth told longer, I had too much of a Greek mythology phase. I don't have the patience to read an entire novel about a story that would normally take me 5 minutes.
I guess that makes sense. Did you like I think for me it's the fact that like I didn't have as hard of a phase. Like I had a
Mhm.
Greek phase, but like I also had a horse phase. So,
Yeah, that does take up time.
that takes up time. And so I don't think I know the myths as well, and that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Because
that
I didn't mind Song of Achilles. I didn't think it was near as emotional as people make it out to be.
people being upset that
Um,
about what happens in the end, I'm like, he dies.
yeah, that's the myth. That's what
That's how the myth.
happens.
That's the whole point of why we have an Achilles tendon.
And like I liked Cersei, but I think I told you before, I liked that one because I like the mother side of it. I really
Yeah.
aligned with that and it made me emotional and I had an emotional response to it. So I like that one. I think I've read Ariadne, but I didn't know that myth. Like I didn't know it
Yeah,
like
no.
at all.
I know Ariadne and the Minotaur very well. Cersei,
See,
I
I
think
didn't know it at all.
I kept reading because I liked the narrator. I think the narrator for the audiobook was really good for that one. And also I was hoping it would get gay, and then it didn't.
Yeah, that one I was confused. I was like, why isn't it gay? I do also have I
She's on
haven't
an
read it
island
yet.
for thousands of years with only
Um
nymphs.
The Wolf Den. I have that one. I've never read it, but
Oh,
I own it. I don't know what that one's about.
I tried that. That's a case of that one's not a myth. I don't that one I don't even know if that's one's based on a specific myth or not. That was one I couldn't vibe with the writing style.
Okay.
But I think for me, it's a case of maybe I would, if I try ones that are about myths that I don't know super well.
Yeah.
Like, I think Jennifer Saint also did one on Atalanta. I don't know a whole lot
Yes.
about. I don't know a whole lot about her.
Atalanta is one though.
So that's one that maybe I would be
Maybe,
willing to try that
yeah.
one. Like, I have to try ones that are like about myths that I don't know. But even still, like, I know that these myths generally are oral stories that can be told very quickly, and my brain's
Yeah.
still like, how do you find this many words?
I think it's like taking it more of like a reimagining, trying to imagine what it was actually like
It's
to
it's
go
definitely more
through
fleshed
that.
out.
It's more
Yeah.
fleshed out instead of just being kind of vague.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Did you have a higher education having to study these things, or was it just something you did?
It was both. I mostly just
Okay.
did. I had a big deep Greek mythology phase in like middle school, into high school, and then in college I took multiple courses that touched on, like, I took a great works of like the Western canon class where we
Mhm.
did the Iliad and the Odyssey. I took a class on storytelling, so we did a lot of talking about how storytelling evolves and all that. I wrote a whole paper on the evolution of this fairy tale Snow White.
See, maybe that's what it could be because, like, for me, I never got to do any of that.
Yeah,
All I did, we did Odysseus in
yeah,
my
and my
freshman year of high school, and that's the last I got ever, unless I looked
mhm.
it for it myself. Any type of Greek mythology, anything. So I think that's where it's different. You had to study it.
Yeah, and
I've
my
never had to study. Like I bought Homer, or no, well,
mhm.
not Homer, the Iliad.
Yeah. My
Stormy.
ancient world history professor was also this was another one. My ancient world history professor was a queer woman. So when we got to that part of
Oh,
it, and I took two classes by her. I took like ancient world history in my first year, and then my first semester, and then my second semester I took another class of hers that was just about like the Hellenistic age,
okay.
and she touched on a lot of the mythology and how that affected the societies. So I think
Oh, I'd love that.
I took I'll say I took quite a few courses in college where I analyzed these stories down to, and I did actually for my storytelling class. Part of that was we over the course of the class we had to, I think, tell 3 or 4 stories for various reasons. And for my last one I told the story of Zeus versus Kronos,
Ooh. Well,
mainly because I could bring elements of gospel truth into my intro because I got extra points when I sang in class.
nice. Well, there is your literature corner apparently that we had
Yeah.
for today that we didn't realize we needed to have a conversation about.
Considering we haven't actually, we're still talking about lines. We haven't actually talked about the episode.
Yeah, I'm
That was off
like
of
we're
one
still
line.
there. We still have
We've of the lines we have written down, we've only
yeah.
done one.
So
My next one,
you're next.
yeah,
Okay.
10 minutes later. I live in a converted gazebo with my improv group.
And under that were X-Acto knives pointed up. Oh, still don't know why you store them that way. It's a display. It looks better.
I think it's too late for violence.
So I was lying. They're bleeding somewhat heavily.
It's not exactly Evian, but it's not wavy gravy either.
The sun was in my eyes. I couldn't tell. And I was high.
I'm out of lines. I'm out of lines.
I want to start off this
Mm-hmm.
by saying the B plot is so boring. I keep forgetting to try and include it in the synopsis. I wrote that like halfway through the episode. I was like, I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to tell both sides of the story here because the B plot is so boring.
And that poster being over the girl was definitely a fire hazard.
100%.
And also being over the choking poster is just a general hazard. That's definitely a violation. But yeah, the B plot, other than that's not how inspirational posters work.
Nope.
And today is tomorrow's yesterday. Okay, that's about all I got for the B plot.
Yeah, the B plot was just yeah, no, it's like they needed something and they're just like, all right, we'll just go with the Teddy story. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is, but we
Mhm.
had to exist. We had to survive it. So Millie.
Yeah, Millie in this episode did not bother me as much. And I think I figured out why Fortnite was the like, this is terrifying because
Because they actually could have gotten really hurt.
exactly. This one is less creepy and dangerous than Fortnite because that one has like real stakes.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the manipulation to be her friend, the stakes are they don't go to the water park.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's still creepy, but this is more entertaining creepy.
But I also want to point out that Louise's room does not have windows.
No, it doesn't.
So, how did Millie get into her room and find out exactly how it's put together? Because there's no way in hell Louise has invited her over.
You know, some things are better left unanswered.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy though.
It's very creepy. Well, towards the end, I'm like, when you piss off your stalker, you know you've done something wrong.
Right? When you're having to beg your stalker for forgiveness, there's what's going on.
Yeah. But, some things, it's the magic of Millie.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think maybe now that I know that it's Molly Shannon, because the first time I didn't pick up that it was Molly Shannon, I think I'm enjoying the character. But the thing is, the more we see Millie, the more I think I enjoy her, because every time we see her, the stakes are a little less and less serious.
That's actually really funny. I love that it starts off with oh God, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I hate this character. To go like, oh wait, it's not that bad now, because like the worst thing I could imagine has already happened.
Honestly, yeah, I've been desensitized because the first time we see her, she almost kills them.
Oh God.
And then like last time we saw her was what the student body election.
Yeah.
Which again is the stakes are the stakes. It is what it is. And this one again, the stakes are that if they don't figure it out, they don't go to the water park. So like it's I only find Millie terrifying and not fun to watch when her being a stalker gets them almost killed.
I don't think that she does that again. I think it's just that one time.
Okay, then. So then I'm okay with Millie going forward.
You're okay with Millie going forward? I'm so proud of you for finding the courage to deal with Millie.
We got there.
She's still not Teddy.
No, Teddy, and again, he's a case of it depends on the episode.
Yeah, he's an enigma.
He really is. But yeah, this episode, like for the most part, like the thing of I actually out of curiosity, because actually there was a line that I forgot to highlight was I didn't even know there were 500 books. I wrote down, I did the math on how many books each student on average would need to read to hit the 500 mark, because I was like I was conservative with my my estimations, but figure it's a magnet school that runs K through grade 8, so that's 9 grades. I went with 30 students. I know we can see the classrooms aren't 30, but whatever. It's 30 is what you see on average. That's 270 students. To hit 500 books, each kid would have to read about 2 books, which is not a lot.
It's not.
So like that's actually a fairly attainable goal for a small magnet school.
Yeah.
The fact that they spent all their money on K-pods or K-cups. To be fair, they are very expensive.
They are. That's why I don't use them.
Yeah, same.
Apart from the waste. Like they're so wasteful.
Yeah, like you can get those things that are like the reusable K-cups, but those are a pain in the ass to clean, and like
because they're mesh.
They're mesh, and I don't own a Keurig. I have a coffee grinder and a tea kettle and various sizes of pour over cones, and I mostly make cold brew anyway.
I have an espresso machine, a French press, a kettle, and a coffee grinder because I use both espresso and normal beans. So I'm like, because like I had a mug of a latte this morning.
There you go.
Like, good to go. Excuse me.
But yeah, so that was my thoughts on Millie. Blackmailing her into being her friend.
That's on point. Like that's Millie.
That makes perfect sense, and it was honestly enjoyable to watch because you had Jean and Tina, in on the trampoline the whole time.
The amount of times kids can spend on a trampoline, though, like that made complete sense because kids can spend forever on those things. But I don't own one because they break bones.
That they do. They are very dangerous. Even if you've got the safety guard around them.
They're so dangerous.
They're so dangerous. Please don't put your kids on a trampoline. At least not where you can't watch them.
Yeah. And like, I know I signed liability stuff at the trampoline park, but like, at least those trampolines are like tested and
that's different.
There's maintenance and they're in the ground and there's no way to like slip your leg in between like springs.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like the danger with most trampolines that are in people's backyards is the falling aspect of them, because you can fall and you either fall through the slats or you could fall off entirely.
You're also not supposed to touch them when they're wet, and a lot of people are dumb and think, I'm going to put water and soap and do stupid things on a trampoline. If you put soap and water on a trampoline, you're going to break something because it's extremely slippery. Like it's super, super dangerous. But no, people will play on them wet and do all these things and they'll just do stupid shit. See, I didn't even know they had safety things until I got older. Yeah. As a kid, no one used those.
Yeah, some people did, some people didn't up here. It really depended on the family.
Yeah, not where I grew up. No one did.
No, but Frond destroying his own dolls. I mean, okay, I will say this again. I liked the aspect of if you want to, obviously, this is the Silence of the Lambs references. You want to get it. You want to get into the mind of the perpetrator. Ask someone just as unhinged.
Yep.
You ask Millie.
Millie's she was right to go to Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Millie's not here. She didn't do it. I know I didn't do it. No one believes me. Who's the one person that I could probably get to help me and back me up to know that neither of us did this?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, no. I just love how they're always all, like, after this, like, during this moment, like, Frond the whole time has a cup in his hand.
Yeah.
Like, it's honestly not that hard to figure out, like, when you really look at it and pay attention to the episode. It's really easy to figure out, but they're kids, so.
Yeah, no, it's taking that long for a group of 9-year-olds. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, I guess they give you that main hint at the very beginning when they mention that the yarn is unraveled, not cut. Which, honestly, death to the therapy dolls. They're creepy.
The therapy dolls are so creepy. And I'm just sitting here, like, I know you can do it, but I don't know how to unravel from the middle of a project. I crochet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to unravel from the middle of a project without cutting a piece of yarn because it's all woven together. But he knits. Maybe it's different with knitting.
I think it is a little different with knitting, and I think it's also the fact of he mostly unraveled at joint points where the colors changed.
Ah, you're right.
There's already a weakness.
We're really picking apart drawn knitted dolls.
But the way that they were displayed, like the first time they found like everything,
the one that's like up on the wall.
I was like, this is detail. Like this is like someone that has like a before I figured out that it was Frond. I was like, this someone's got like a vendetta against these therapy dolls.
When in reality, Frond just has issues.
Frond just needs to not spend as much money on K-cups. Or set the readathon at a higher limit. If they made it 1,000, then that definitely would have been like not gonna make it. But 500 is actually a very attainable goal for our school.
Because like, how much time did they have to do this? A week?
And honestly, with elementary school kids, I mean, most of them are gonna unless you say they have to pick chapter books, which you can't do for the younger kids anyway. Like that's not gonna take them very long. Because we used to do readathon stuff when I was in elementary school. My 5th grade teacher, she did a good way of doing this. Once everyone found out who their teacher was for the next year, she gave every student, like the last day of 4th grade, she gave all of us that were going to be in her class in 5th grade. We were all on baseball teams. So we all had our team assignment, and we were given the rules, and we had like a reading log. So basically every 50 or 100 pages was a base. No, it had to be, we were in 5th grade. It had to be by every 50 pages. So like every 50 pages we read was like we ran a base. So
that's cool.
So we did it over the summer, and then we did it into the first like month or two into school. So there wasn't necessarily a goal, but it was whichever team, read the most books. They got a little at first it was they get the pizza party. Then my teacher was like, okay, everyone's gonna get pizza. Yeah. I think they got like a little, I think maybe they got a cupcake also or something like that. But that's a good way to encourage reading, because it's like more of like it's incentivizing you to read longer books rather than just read as many picture books as you can.
Yeah. I have to say though, like I spent some pizza parties alone growing up, though. Like I like any way of getting kids to read, because I've gone to like reading parties alone at different schools growing up because no one read.
There's a group in the town that I just moved to that is a silent book club.
I want to do one of those so bad.
They're based in this town, but they go kind of all over the place over here. I'm gonna wait until they have like a meeting like back in town, because I want to check it out.
See, we just love reading. That's what. So what did you rate this one?
I get this one 8s across the board. It's a 24. It's perfectly fine. It was more enjoyable than like a 7s across the board, but it was I liked it more than the first one.
Wait, so what's the total?
That's 24.
Thank you. I don't math.
The computer does the math for us. Literally.
So I gave plot 6. Like the B plot really ruins this, in all honesty. And character and personal 7. So this is a 20 for me. I don't mind Millie all that much. Doesn't matter if she doesn't bother me. She doesn't annoy me, anything like that. But like the B plot was just so bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, like, people love the poster and people, like, have fond memories of this episode, which I think is fine. Like, we're all different people, but, like, it's just not the best.
That's fair.
But I don't skip it, so
Yeah, it
I
is.
still
Yeah,
let it play.
that's a interesting place to be. Like, it was fine, but it's not a skip.
Yeah. Which a 20 feels that way.
We would say anything 20 and up is a decent score, is what we tend
Yeah.
to say. So,
But that's all I got.
yeah, that was welcome to season 8.
Woohoo.
Woo. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 406, Family Business. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.